Hi guys, and welcome to our class. Today we're going to talk about quadratic functions, specifically about graphing quadratic equations. Alright, so let's start. We'll remind you about the basics, about the basics of this content. Alright, so let's start talking about the quadratic term, okay? You really need a quadratic term, of course, to have a quadratic equation. Okay, so you need one of the coordinates powered to 2. Okay, usually we have y equal x squared as the most common example for a quadratic function. Alright, so we have discussed about this one, and we have plotted some graphs on this also. And well, we have another term that we have studied. It was the term that adds numbers here to the quadratic term or subtract from the quadratic term. Okay, add or subtract. And as you can see, we have if we subtract numbers, we're going to displace the parabola down. And if we add numbers, we're going to move or displace the parabola up. Okay, up. So that's the effect of adding or subtracting numbers from the quadratic term. Also, if you change the number in front of the quadratic number, you're going to stretch. If you increase the number more than 1, okay, you're going to stretch the parabola. Or if you put here a number between 0 and 1, like 0.5 or 0.3, the parabola is going to be more flattened, it's going to be more opened, okay? If you keep going and go for negative numbers, so you're going to have your parabola pointing down, okay? So it's coming from minus infinite here, it's going to have a maximum, and then it's going to go down again to infinite. Okay, so these are the effects, or this is the effect of the number just before the quadratic term. Okay, we have discussed this before, so I will not spend too much time with this now. I want to go forward, okay? I want to go forward. Just to remind you about some terms that you need to know to proceed, okay? The terms that we're going to use now. Let me introduce to you few terms. Some of them we have talked by now, and there are some terms that are new, okay? So take a look on this image here on screen. Well, we have the parabola here, all right, and this parabola is coming from the plus infinite, okay, and then reach here is going to turn into a moment that's going to flip and is going to increase again. So it's decreasing at this side, decrease, then reach a minimum and starts to increase again, okay? The point in which this is going to happen, you're going to flip the behavior of the parabola. It was decreasing, it starts to increase, is called vertex, okay? Vertex. In this case, the vertex is a minimum because the number before the quadratic term is positive, and we know that because we have the parabola pointing upwards, okay? Or open up, okay? Well, there are more terms that you need to know. Of course, line of symmetry is exactly on the parabola is changing its behavior. Okay, it's changing its direction. It's decreasing and then start to increase. Or if you have a negative number multiplying the quadratic term, so you're going to have a parabola, an inverted parabola here. So the symmetric line is going to be exactly on the point, or it's going to cross exactly at the vertex in which the parabola is going to start to decrease again. It's going to increase, it's going to reach the vertex and start to decrease if the number which is multiplying the quadratic term is negative, alright? But there are more names that we have to discuss here today. There are two actually, it's not that much, okay? We have the y-intercept. The y-intercept is exactly the point in which the parabola is going to cross the y-axis, okay? This one is always going to happen, okay? Is always going to happen. So for all graphs that you have a parabola, it doesn't matter if this parabola is pointing up or pointing down, okay? You're going to find the y-intercept. And I'm gonna show you how to find it. It's quite simple actually, alright? And also we have x-intercepts, okay? X-intercepts are the points in which the parabola is crossing the x-axis, okay? You have to know this name and the properties of y-intercept and x-intercepts, okay? We're going to discuss further these intercepts next class. So let's just cut out this video. Let's start another one just discussing about these new terms and discussing further about them. Bye.